G'day folks, in this video I'll show how you can solve the crazy grills earth. Now the earth is the crazy grills cube, but it's had the white face and the green face changed to one faces, and you can see that the circle parts turn with the face there. On all the other faces, those circle parts stay fixed. So this is the standard earth variant where white and green are one faces. So on this earth puzzle, we're going to approach it in a similar way to the crazy grills, but there are a few more things going on because of the interaction of these faces. So the first thing that we'll do is have a look at the triangles. Now, because of the way that these faces are set up, normally on the crazy grills, all you'd have to do is just turn triangles or turn corners to place triangles and they'd be placed. One turn would get them done. But you can see here that that's not necessarily the case. We have strange combinations, red and orange and things like that. And in fact, there's only really two corners that you can instantly turn in. Here's one of them, which is the yellow, blue, orange. That will just turn straight in. The other one is this yellow, red, blue. So we might as well do that. Those triangles there cannot leave that orbit. So once we've done that, we'll just kind of work our way around here and get these other triangles, noting that these are the two faces that we can use to move them. So for example, if I looked here, I might think, how do I get an orange to there? I can't turn that up to receive because it just won't move. So what I have to do is sort of use this green face. So I could turn that position, move the orange triangle on the green face, undo, undo. Let's place that orange one. Let's perhaps do something similar. I can leave the greens till later, really. I can get the red down to here in the same way. So for example, I could, in fact, I can't turn that up. I've just said in the same way and didn't do it in the same way. Going to have to go over to the green face, rotate it there, and then undo both of them. If we look around, sort of the bottom bits are done apart from the green. And let's now use, for example, the greens can be gotten from the white face, but I might as well do these other ones first. So I'll just look up here. So there's a red up there. So I can use the white face to grab that. Here's an orange. That's another orange up there, which I can use. And every time I do this, it kind of displaces another one that I need. So that red can be put into position and it brings out a green there. So where am I at? Well, I've got a blue here still. In fact, I think I just turned that the wrong direction. We'll just have a look. Yeah, the orange was there, so no, that's okay. All good. So that blue's in, the orange. The only things left now, apart from these yellows back here, well, the yellows can come and grab pieces from there. So I can just move that position up to there and turn the face, grab the yellow, undo the face, and then return the position. In the same way, I sort of travel through that green face, put the position onto the green face. Then I can turn, I know that I can just move that yellow into position, turn the face, put the yellow on, undo, undo, and then undo that position. And that still leaves pretty much everything we had done, apart from possibly this red one. I can happily go and grab that. And now the only things left should be whites and greens. And so you can see it's a little bit more involved, but not much more involved. So again, this one, I can just rotate that, put it on, undo, and all those triangles are now in position. So the next thing is we're going to check for a single twisted corner because we don't want to encounter this at the end. It's a bit of a pain. Much easier and simpler to get it dealt with now if it is a problem. So to do this, I'm going to just place my 4 white corners on the white face. It doesn't really matter if they're oriented correctly or not, but makes it slightly easier, I guess, if they are. But the important thing is just that they're placed into the correct position. So that white, orange, green, that's done. I'm ready, happy with that. I'll just look down here. There's a white, orange, blue corner. So I will move that underneath where it goes. And if I can easily place it correctly, I will, so that it's oriented. So that one's in. You'll notice that I'm only doing face turns when I do this, so it's not disrupting any of these triangles. White, red, green is over here. Again, I can turn that up so it's oriented correctly, so I will. What's left? White, blue, red underneath. This one, if I wanted to orient it, I'd have to turn it up 3 times. I'd have to do 3 of these things. I don't care that much, so that's good enough. All the whites are in. Now I want to turn it over, have a look at the yellows, and basically get the yellow corners so that they are either in a solved position, whether they're oriented or not, or in some kind of 3 cycle. So let's see if any of them. That one's in position. Are the other 3 in a 3 cycle? Blue, orange goes there. Green, orange goes there. Blue, red goes there. Yes, they are. Okay, so that's good enough. What we want to do now is essentially count up the overall number of twists, and I want that to be 0 or 3 or -3. So I'm going to call anything that is correctly oriented, that's a 0. That's been twisted 0 moves away. This one here, this white one, you'll notice the white should be there and it has been twisted anti-clockwise. So I'm going to call that a -1. This one here has been twisted clockwise, so that'll be a +1. So together I have an overall 0 by looking at the white corners. Let's come up to the yellows. That's correctly oriented. That's correctly oriented. That's correctly oriented. This one is not. And this has been given a twist of -1, an anti-clockwise twist. So when I look at the whites and the yellows together, overall, I have an overall twist of -1. And just looking at this again, that's clockwise, that's anti-clockwise, 0 on the white face, 0, 0, 0, -1. Now, that's not good. What I want is essentially a 0. So to get a 0, I'm going to need to twist another corner clockwise to give it a +1. And that +1 and the -1 would return things to 0. And the corner that I'm going to choose is a corner involving the white face, purely so that I can replace these triangles. If I was to twist this corner clockwise, it would fix the problem, but it's then a bit of a pain to get the triangles back. In fact, in this case, it's not only a pain, it's not possible because those triangles are fixed. So I need to twist one of these white corners 1 turn clockwise. So let's say that I look at this one, I give that a twist. That has now fixed the problem. Overall, we have an overall twist of 0, which means we will not encounter the corner, the single twisted corner at the end. Now, I hope you'll agree that's pretty straightforward. And if we did not do that, at the end, we're going to get a single twisted corner. Everything else is solved. We have to fix it up. As I said earlier, bit of a pain, not interested in that. So the problem's fixed. What do we do with these? Well, we use the white face to get things back where they should be. So this blue one, I'll just put it into this position first. Yes, I've just twisted, but now I've twisted back. So that's okay. The orange one in the same way. Yes, I've just twisted. Now I've twisted back. Okay, so we've checked and fixed for that single twisted corner. The next stage is to do the circle wings. Now, unlike the crazy grills, these don't occur in pairs because they have been separated from each other by the white and the green faces. So I'm just solving them bit by bit, and I work my way upwards. If you've done the Mercury, it's similar to the Mercury, but it's certainly not the same. There are some issues here, particularly involving the wings around that region there. So I will start with the yellows, and I'll just initially, I'll put these two straight down into position there. Can do any face turns, that's fine, no problem. I'm looking for a yellow realistically on the top layer. Now here, I don't have one on the top layer, but I do have one in that position. And because I haven't really done anything else, I can just turn that down like that into position. That puts another yellow on top. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I haven't really done anything there, so I can go turn that one down. You'll notice now that I've got at least one yellow on each part here. Now I'm going to leave the yellow-green, the yellow under the yellow-green till the end. And in fact, I don't really necessarily want that there. It's not going to help me. What I do want is to place that one and that one. And I'll do that in the same manner that I did before in other puzzles. So the first thing here, I'm going to just put this up onto the top face. Okay, so that is stored up there. And we'll move it around to this position and we'll say, is that going to work? Yes, it is. So I will move where I want it to go to there, and you'll see that by twisting this corner, that yellow will come into that position. So I'll twist the corner, then I'll move those down into position and then untwist that corner. And that's kept everything okay with the corners, and it's also placed that one there. I said we'd do these ones at the end, so I'm next looking to do this one here. I'll just see, there's definitely a yellow there, there's a yellow there. Is there another one somewhere? Yes, over here. So let's get this one up onto the top face because it's no good there. So to do that, I will just twist it to that position and then move it up to the top face in the same way. Very clear to see that that needs to be twisted back. Okay, let's grab that one. And the one that I'd like to try and place is this one. Let's see if that's going to work. Now that yellow piece is not going to go in that position. And the reason is if I try and leave it there and move this up, it pushes it out. If I turn it across to there and bring this up, that is not going to be able to move to there. So that's actually one for the other position. Let's try this one here. We'll see if we can get this one out. In order to get that out, firstly, I'll just twist it around like this and have a look. Now, here comes one of the issues with getting this up, potentially. I want to put this up onto the top face, but I do not want to disturb any green triangles because these things will move. You'll notice that the yellow triangle there has moved when I do that. So I'll just see initially, as long as I can put this on the top face and it does not disturb triangles, everything's okay. And I've done that. That's okay. I can put that back into position. Now, let's have a look and see whether one of these is going to be the correct one. There we go. That is the correct one. That'll go in that position. So again, we'll look at moving this up and turning it on. And we just want to make sure that we're not turning the green face as we do it. So I'm going to place that yellow piece on, move them back. That green triangle stays still, which is fine. So it has not disrupted the relationship of the triangles. I can go ahead, turn them back. That one's in. Okay, now we come to the last two yellows. Because of the nature of the green face, it's not really possible to place them one at a time here. That's just randomly landed there. So what we want to do instead is get both of them initially to the top face. So to do that, I'll turn them up to the top face, just turn that one off and return. I'm then going to find the other one, wherever it may be. There it is. I also want to put that to the top face. In fact, yes, I do. I was just going to say, do I actually need to? Yes, I do. Okay, so they're still done. Looking to get a pair of yellows now on the top face, ready to place here. Now I'll do that over in this region, away from the green face, because I know nothing's going to change here. So first of all, let's get one of them down into this position. So turn that red position up, put the yellow piece on, undo. You can look at the triangles, everything's still okay, nothing's changed. The next thing, I'd like to now place this yellow piece into that position, as if I was trying to fill it. So I'm going to firstly turn that corner to make a pair. Then I'm going to move this pair up to, say, here. Now you'll notice that the white, red, blue relationship is still there. So I now return that corner to where it should be. Again, looking at the bottom, nothing's changed, but I now have a pair on the top. I can go move the position up to here. As long as I turn that whole face all the way up to the top, then I can turn the top layer. Now the yellow pair is in position. I return that face and those two are done. So a little bit of extra work there to get those last two yellow wings done. The next part of this is to get these lower face ones here. Now, once again, we're going to have a slight issue with the greens. So I'll look at the other ones here. I want to look on the top and just, for example, say if I was going to, let's have a look at this one here, this red one. I think this will work. This green piece needs to be a red. In order to have it be a red, I want to rotate it to there and then place a red in that position if there is one. And there is one here because I know that because that will turn around to the same position. So I can turn this up to the white face, put the red on, undo, and I could undo the top face if I want, but there's no need to at this point. Then I return that back. That now has a red, and you'll notice it hasn't affected any yellows. So I'm looking for pieces. Let's try the blue. There's a blue that belongs here. If I turned it to there, I follow the path. Yes, that will work. Let's do that. Return that one. Okay, let's carry around to the orange. Have I got oranges up the top? I do. In fact, I have two that are in sort of opposite orbits, which means they're going to fill those ones there. So let's start with this one, and we'll turn that to the top, place the appropriate orange piece on, undo, and return. And again, just noting nothing's changed on the yellow face. This last one for the orange, turn that to there. You'll notice, yes, it's interacting with this green face. However, when I turn it up, it's actually leaving these triangles here. I'll turn this one up, put its orange piece on and undo, and return that corner. I think there was one more red one over here, and I do have reds up here, so that's good. So I can happily go and grab this piece here, which was this red, turn it across to there, bring it up to the top, and find the appropriate red that belongs there. Okay, so the yellows are still there. The two reds, the two blues, the two oranges, they are done. Now, in terms of doing the same sort of thing, you can see that I do have one green there. It's not necessarily going to be super helpful that that's there. What I'm looking at is if I was to try and place this green in the same way. Well, let's say I turn that up to there. When I turn this piece up, what happens is you'll notice that there's a yellow piece here as well, a little yellow wing, which has come from that bottom face. As I turn this up, because the green face moves, that yellow wing also moves. And if I turn it off, I've broken that yellow wing that I did not want to move. And that is why I can't just do the same method for these two green ones. So what I'm going to do with the greens initially, I don't care about that particular one there. I want to make a pair. I'm going to do that in the same way that I did before. So, and I want to do that away from the green face. So let's first of all say, I'll put this one down to that position. Whoops. That's there. And I want to fill that position with an appropriate green. Now I see one over here that I think will do the job. because that green will rotate around here to make a whole one. So I'll rotate that corner, got myself a pair. I want to take that pair up to the top face. And again, doing it over here because it does not disrupt the triangle relationships that I've got built. Okay, so that's intact. There's a green pair. Now I come back and I say, how do I get that green pair there? Well, what I can do initially is turn this pair, the position, to there. Yes, I've turned that green face, but I haven't actually done a sequence yet. This is just a setup move. Now I'm going to put that green pair onto there. And when I do this, you'll notice it's going to be the red face that's turning. It's not turning the green face. So I'll just move that pair off, put the position up, put the pair on, and undo, allegedly. There we go. And I had that set up at the beginning. So undo that setup. And what that does is put the green pair in, and it puts this yellow pair as well. That's why I needed to do it over here, because when I rotated this face, those yellows are fixed. And that was pretty important to keep them unmoved. Where are we at? The yellows are all still done. The bottom D layer is now done. Okay. The next thing is that I want to move on to these lower equator ones here. The orange is done. Let's have a look at this particular orange piece. Do I have one at the top? I do, which is that one. So this should work just fine, because all I'm doing is turning. Yes, I'm turning that, but it doesn't affect anything I've already done. I can then put the orange on and undo. You'll notice that that's fine. The yellows are fine. Nothing else has been moved. I've got a green that can go in here. So I'll turn that off, position up, put it on, undo. That's good. Important thing is we don't want to disturb what we've already done. That needs a green. There's no greens at the top. Let's move on. That needs a red. There is a red there. And you'll notice that there is now a green up the top. Let's see if that's going to work. It is going to work. So another red, and there's a red there. And I reckon now I've just got the two blues to do. There's a blue here, which will go into that position. And this one, that or that blue will work. Okay, so that's the whole of the lower half done. I move on to the upper half, and I don't need to worry about the whites. They will take care of themselves at the end. What I need to do is these upper equator pieces here. And the way I'll do this is slightly different. Let's find one that is going to work. And what I can't do is simply say, well, that is going to there and it matches with that blue. So therefore, I'll turn this up, put that blue on and turn it back, because you'll notice that that disrupts the piece that I'd already put there. That's why I say this has got to be slightly different. And what we want to do here is consider if there is a blue piece, it's going to turn up to there where that orange one is. So that position, which currently has a white piece, if I turn the corner, it's going to turn up like that. Now, I can't simply turn that up, put the blue piece on, undo, undo, because you can see straight away that's disrupted the triangles. So instead of that, what I need to consider is these are the first two pieces I'm interested in, and then I want a third piece that is going to help me as well, which happens to be over here. Now you'll notice as I do this, there are two edges that are being used here, this edge and this edge. What that means is that my third piece needs to be on one of the other two edges, and the blue piece is there, so that's fine. So what we're going to do is I note that I've got to have the piece movement going white up to here, orange up to here, and the blue comes down to there. In other words, I don't want the blue to go to here. That's not going to help me. So the piece movement is like this, and notice that the white comes up to here first. That tells me I do a corner turn first. Now I want to put that blue there. However, I don't just want to turn it, I want to do an edge piece series. And that means upper face, now the side face, and the side face here is this blue face. That's okay because I'm going to bring this top one, or the bottom one, up to the top. And then undo, undo. So these intermediate turns are a 4 move, and the blue piece was there. I wanted to turn it to there, so I turned it and then used the side face as my second turn. Now you'll notice that that blue piece is now attached to the blue triangle. So now I turn that back into position. So I've undone the corner turn. Now I want to undo the face turns. And because the face turn was an upper and then a front 2, to undo it, I'll do a front 2 and an upper. Notice these yellows are now coming back. Front 2 and an up prime. That final up prime is not so important at the moment. It will be soon. But importantly, what you'll see is that none of the lower equator stuff has been touched. All the yellows are back, but we have placed a blue piece there. That is the technique. Now, this one, there's no blue pieces up here. I'll ignore that for now. Let's see this one. Yep, there's an orange there and an orange there. So I could take my pick. What I might do this time is say, let's have the piece movement going here to here to here. So I'll do the face turns first because that's going to there. So what are the face turns? This time it's a front 2. Sorry, an up 2, then a front 2, and up 2, then a front 2. Now I can turn my corner up, and when I undo those moves, notice there is an orange down there. That is going to come and position where I want it to. That's done. Undo the corner turn. That orange is safely in position. Now, the key to carrying this out is that one of my faces, the circle parts turn, and the other face, the circle parts do not turn. And that becomes important here because if I try and do the face turns involving, say, the white face and the green face, this will not work. It'll muck stuff up. So that's one of the subtle differences with this earth cube. So I might we'll just see if there's any way, yeah, there is. Look, I can do a green here. That blue goes to that white, goes to that green. So this is similar to the first one we did. However, we have a slight problem because normally I would be turning this face and then the green face, but I cannot turn that green face. So I'm going to leave that for now and come back to it when it's more doable. In the same way, what have I got here? This one's actually a little bit easier to demonstrate. So this time I've got the white coming to the green, coming to the blue. That's the piece movement. So I want to do face turns first, but I don't want to do these two faces. How can I get that white over to there without involving the green face? Well, I'll involve the blue face. That will still move that white to there. So let's do face turns first. That's a 0 face. Now the 1 face. Undo, undo. Okay. Now you'll notice that that white piece that was there has gone to here. Where's the green that I wanted? On the bottom. I'm going to turn this position up into that corner place. And now I'll undo my face turns. Well, if I did a blue then a white, to undo it, I've got to do white then blue. And remember, we're looking for a green to come back to here. White, blue, oh, there's the green. Undo, undo. That green is attached to the triangle. I undo the corner turn and it is safely in. Okay, we've moved on now to the red. Is there a red here? That is going to go to that position. Those two are not the correct reds to jump onto there, so I'll ignore them. However, this one, certainly either of them will work. So that's fairly straightforward. I can take my pick whether I want to go white to red, or red to white. Doesn't really matter. I'll turn the corner up first and then put this red piece onto it with the face turns. And undo the corner turn and undo the face turns. Okay, the red is in. We're back to where we started here. I think we had the blue there first. Let's see if we've got another blue. We do now. We've got the white to the blue to the white. So the piece movement here, this white traveling to here, this blue traveling down to here. So I need to do the face turns first. Then put the position up and undo face turns. Undo corner turn. That one's done. How are we going? We're nearly done on this upper equator. I've got an orange there, a red there, and a green here. Let's check the orange. There's no oranges there yet. That green, I'll look at that in a minute. And there's no reds there yet. Let's now have a look at the green. What if I wanted that green? I don't really want it in this position. I would actually prefer it to be over here, because then I can involve this face as I do it. So another technique that you can use is just to move this green over to here initially. Because I'm only doing this one and I'm not doing these ones here, I can simply at this stage rotate that upper face one turn. And that has not moved that bit there, so I'm not concerned about that. If I was doing these ones, I'd have to do something else. But for now, that's okay. So I've got this blue to the orange to the green. I'll carry that out, so I'll do the corner turn. And instead of going white face, green face, I'm going to do blue face, white face, because that is my zero face. That's done. The green's attached. Undo the corner turn. Undo the face turns. Okay, and I did have that upper face turn, so I'll put that back, but because I haven't done these yet, it's not even necessary to do that. Okay, so that green's done. Let's have a look. That orange still doesn't have a piece there. What about the red? Still doesn't have a piece. And therefore, what that means is I'll just grab an orange or a red piece from this upper layer by placing something in its position. So, for example, if I took that red, I say, where does that go? That is going to go to there, and that clearly is going to be a correct red piece. If that is sitting there, that's traveling over to that position. So this is a good one to remove, and I note also that that is going to turn onto a blue there, which means the blue can come and fill this. So this is something you sometimes have to do, is start on these ones before you've quite finished these ones here. But in any event, it's very similar. I'll just sort of look and say, well, these are my two pieces. What's my third? Well, any other piece here will do. So I'm going to make the orange go to the blue, go to the red, like that. So orange to blue is face turns first. Then I want to move that position up and bring back the blue piece. Blue piece is on, undo that. You'll notice that has not been disrupted, which we'd already done. That blue piece has been placed, and it's also got this red piece here, which is what we were really trying to do anyway. So now I've got orange to red to white. Okay, I can go ahead and carry that out. That red's now done. Were all of the rest of these done? No, just the orange there. I still don't have an orange here. So what I might look at doing is, and by the way, now is the point where I start thinking that upper face is set in position, because I've already got two blues there. If I just randomly turn it, I've lost those blues. So I will keep this stationary now. Let's have a look and see if I can grab, if I can perhaps place this orange piece or get this one out somehow. If I get that one out, it's going to go to that position, which is clearly going to be different than that one. So that'll be a good one to get out. So I will take this out to here and just replace it with the white, I guess, or I can move it across to here. What makes more sense? Probably to move it across to here, to be honest. So the white to the red to the orange will go back to there. I want to do face turns first, not involving the green face, so it's okay. Corner up. That's done, and return that corner. Remember, what I was trying to do was getting an orange out from there. It hasn't disrupted this one. I do have an orange out now, so I can finish this piece. That's going to come to there, which is going to go to that one there. Okay, so at this point, we're nearly done with these edge wings. All of the ones are done up to the last layer. And in fact, I've got 2 blues done. So I'm now needing to place these last ones here. So this is very, very similar. I'm just going to look on the top and say, I've got an orange here. Can I place that orange somewhere? Well, where does it go? That's the first question. If I move that orange, either goes across to here, but that's not going to help because I've got that done, or it'll turn around to here and then down to that position. So I sort of think if I turn that up, that orange can place to there. So that is what I'm looking at. My piece movement, red to white to orange, and these are the faces that I'll turn. So put the corner up, and now face moves here, and it does not matter that I'm involving this piece when I do those face moves. And now let's just see if I'm just going to undo that because I feel like I did something that I didn't properly think through there. I did indeed. I turned the corner up and then I did these here, whereas in actual fact, I needed to do the move around to that position. That's why it didn't look right when I finished it. So let's see how I might do that. I want to turn this orange around to here, but I don't want to involve the green face. So in order to do that, I can now use this red face. I'm going to face turn here. So instead of a white face turn, then a green face turn to move the orange to there, I can do a red face turn, then a white face turn, like so. Red face, and turn that position across. Undo, you'll notice there's the orange now attached. Undo the white. That was the key thing, to get the orange attached to there. I can now come and undo the corner turn and then undo these face turns. If I get stuck as to what I'm supposed to be doing, I look at the yellows and think, well, they have to go back to there. Okay, so the only way I can achieve that is that white face first. Okay, all done. That orange is done. The blues are still there. Let's see what else I've got. No oranges up there. I do have a red. Now, where's that going to go? That red travels across to there, to this green piece. So that is my piece movement. So I'll turn the corner up, bring the red across to there. Undo the corner turn. Undo the face turns. Okay, that red's done. That's brought a green out. Let's see which one that's going to help with. Looks like it's going to be this thing again. So that, yep, I can basically bring the corner out to here and then move the green on around to there and use this red face to help me. That's done. Put the green back. undo the face turns. When you're doing this without explaining it, you get into a pretty quick rhythm and you begin to see how straightforward it really is. Now, those blues are still there. I've got one red, one green, and one orange. And you'll notice all of those pieces are in the wrong place. None of them are on the top. So if that happens, what you've got to do is just get one of them out. So to get the red out, I can basically go, well, I'll turn it up there and just replace it with a white piece here. And put that back down, undo. Okay, so now I have the red piece out. That is clearly going to go to the position that I need, which is this position, comes up to there. There's the red piece. So that's the piece movement that I'm interested in. Now that's the green face again, so I would prefer not to turn the white then the green. Instead, I'll turn this face and then the white onto it. So that side face, then the white face, like so. That attaches that red piece. I can turn that back down and then undo my face turns. And in so doing, that has pulled the orange out. So we'll come around to here. We'll see, how do I need to do this? Green to white to orange. Okay, that's straightforward. There we go. Should only be one piece left, which is this green one, and that's sitting over there, which is going to come to that position, to that position. So again, I'm going to turn the position up and then move the green around. It's attached. Undo the corner and undo the face turns. Now, having done all of them, you can see that not only are all the side and the bottom face done, the whites are obviously also automatically done. So that completes all of the circle wings. Well, the next thing we want to look at is placing these little tiny circle edge pieces. Now, this is done in the same way as the circle grills cube or the crazy grills cube. The difference is, if I turn my white face or my green face for my face turn here, nothing will happen. It won't disrupt anything. It will actually just do nothing whatsoever. So that's the only thing. I'll demonstrate the move here and then you'll see what I mean by turn the face. So what we're looking at is three little pieces that are in that sort of position. One on the top at the front, one on the front at the left, one on the front at the right. Let's see if we can find something sensible initially. Just looking for something that I don't really have to change anything initially. May not be possible to find that. Possibly that one, but I'll come back to that if I need to. Yeah, all right. What I'll do here is I note that I've got three pieces in this position. I'd actually like the orange to go up to there. And so with this one, my piece movement is going across the front face from right to left, and the orange comes up to that position at the top, and that red will come down to there. Now, the face that I'm going to turn is this orange face. That's fine to turn. You know the corner piece series, you know how to do this. The corner piece series, I would turn an upper face, then a side face, then an upper face, and then the other side face. In this case, I would turn the upper face anti-clockwise, then that left side face. But instead of turning side faces, I turn left corner. And the upper face clockwise, right corner. And I continue upper face anti-clockwise and return the left corner, upper face clockwise, return the right corner. That's it, and you can see that the orange piece that was there has moved into position. So that is the basic move here. Nothing else of importance has been touched. Essentially, I'm normally looking for either that direction or that direction. And because I don't want to use the white and the green faces, what I like to do is to try and place some white and green pieces first, if I can. Once I've done most of them, there's actually not many left to do here. So let's see a nice way that I could place this white piece into that position. If I just do a setup, that white is going to come to there, the blue will go across to here, and that white will come up to there for me to perhaps do another one. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. The other thing that I could do here is to note that I do have a white piece here and here. So potentially, is that going to work if I turn that up as well? No, I'll have to do it in 2 stages. So let's do that. Piece movement is the opposite direction this time, and so when it's going from left to right across the front face, I just want to start with an upper clockwise and then the right corner, upper anti left corner, and then undo everything. All done. There's that white piece there. The white piece that was here is now up the top, so I can undo the setup. What I can then do is say, well, I can move this one up, and I can move that white piece back here, but this time the direction is different. Now, one thing I will note is that if I've got the white piece there and this one here, that's an orange piece. If there was any way for me to get an orange piece into that position, I could also place the orange piece. So I would look down here and say, is that going to be possible? Kind of. What I can do, because normally I'd look for that one there and say, can that turn up? Well, that's already done. That's not really going to help. However, that one is not. And what I note is that I could do that setup. That is an orange position. That's the white piece that I was going to place to here. So I could do white across to here to place that one, orange up to here to place that one, and then this other white will also come into play down here. So I think that's exactly what I'll do. It comes back to the same turns as before. Okay, that's done. We'll undo the setup moves. You can see the orange one is placed there. That white one is placed. Let's return that. It's brought this other white one up, and let's see how I could do a setup here. I could quite happily turn the white to that position and then bring this up around there. You'll notice when I do that, those pieces do not move, which is nice. So now I say, oh, all right, the white has got to go to there. So again, that's the piece movement. Away I go. Okay, that white is in there. I'll undo the setups. That's the first one. That's the second one. I'll go the other direction. And that is nearly all of the whites done. Where's the fourth white? Over here. Let's see if this is something that I can happily deal with. If I can't have it like that because that's the white face on top, that's not going to work. So I'm looking more to move this position, perhaps over to this face, but I've got to deal with that. That's got to go somewhere sensible. So what about, here we go. All right, so this white piece can turn up to the top there. That's a turnable face. There is its position. So I can simply turn that up and say, cool, now that is what is happening. Because the piece movement is like this, I'm starting with an anti-clockwise upper face turn. Okay, undo those setups. And all of the whites are now done. As I said, I would move on to the greens next. So let's have a look where they are. There's a green sitting here. So this is a fairly straightforward one because I can just move one of these positions down to the back. Doesn't really matter which one. Let's grab that one. That green could go there. The blue can go across to there as well. So that's not a bad one to do. Okay, undo that. Let's find another green. There's one that's on the top there. We'll locate the green face. Okay, there's one that I can move like so. Same sort of thing. I guess I could say if the green's going there, that's a yellow. Could I put a yellow position here, first of all? It's not super easy. Or could I put a red piece there so it'll come up to here? So I will just look and see, is there a spare red piece anywhere sensible? There's not really, except for this one. And so what I can do here is turn this red piece around the bottom face, which is now here, and then bring it up to that position. So it's an extra 2 setup moves, which is worth it to place a second piece here. Okay, that's done. You can see the red's in and the green's in. Let's undo the setups. 1, 2, 3. One more green to go. That's the position. Where's the piece? The piece is here. That's again going to be okay to do. What I'll do is grab the position, turn it across, and then move it up like that. That's now ready to receive the green. And then I've got to fill this with something, if I can, either an orange position or a red piece. Now, there is actually not only an orange position, but a red piece in an orange position, which means I'm definitely going to try and get this piece up to there because it'll do all 3 of them. So the setup would be to take it to there and then to take it up into that position. Now, just in terms of remembering, the only one that I've done so far is this corner. So that's going to be fine. That's probably going to be fine because they don't intersect. So the only thing now is for me to remember that I've turned this lower right corner and I need to turn that back first. All right, so now that is my piece movement. This will get all 3 of them done. Okay, let's undo in the correct order. There's the first one. You can see, by the way, the green's done, the red's done. It doesn't look like this orange is done, but when I turn it back here, oh, suddenly it connects. And I can clearly see that's got to go back there, and that's got to go back there as well. And obviously I had one more to do, which I'd forgotten about, which was that one. So all the whites are done, all the greens are done. I can kind of just focus on the front here now. You can see I said most of the rest of them are done. The oranges are all done as well. So that only leaves pieces on the red, blue, and yellow. And in fact, nearly all of the reds are done. So let's see how we go here. I can get a yellow down to here and the red can be done. That's a really nice, obvious one. Here we go. That's all the reds done. There's only yellows and blues now. Blue to here. Let's have a look what happens if I turn that to there. I'm going to have a blue place, a yellow place. Yeah, that's pretty good. That'll get 2 of them done. Okay, that's all done. And that just leaves me with the last 2 pieces. You can see why I said once you get the whites and the greens done, it's pretty straightforward from there. Okay, how do I get these into position? Well, this is fairly easy as well, because as soon as that's there, I can just turn the bottom face and bring it up. Now, in terms of this, I've got a blue and a yellow. They look like they've got a swap, but actually I can just do a 3 cycle involving a third piece. So I think if the piece order is like this, does it work? The blue goes to there, yes. That blue goes to there, yes. And that yellow comes up to here. That's perfect. All done. What were my setups? Just had to do that, I think. And then that. And you can see that all of the circle parts are now completely done, and they will stay done for the rest of the solve. So the next stage is to reduce the big edges, to reduce 3 pieces to be all the same here. And I won't do all of these, but I'll just show the general technique. And what we're looking for is to try initially and create a pair of pieces, and then we want to pair those ones with the third piece, or place those 2 pieces with the third piece of the same color. So I just normally would look through and say, for example, there's a blue yellow. Can I find some easy way to turn that so that it matches with a blue yellow piece here? And that's going to go to blue. That one's not going to work. And there's no reason I've chosen blue yellow, by the way. It's just what was there. There's actually 2 blue yellows. That one didn't, but this one may, too hard, do an easier one, which doesn't require so much thought. There's an orange blue going to there. No, don't like that. What have I got here? I do try and stay away from the green and white faces and sort of concentrate over here, because I don't want to be turning those faces when I do my face turns. Okay, before too long, I'm just going to have to randomly choose something and say that's what I'm doing, because nothing is obviously sticking out here. Let's consider that orange is going to go there. Okay, I've got an orange yellow here, and I've got a matching piece here. What I'm going to do first is turn that yellow orange side piece up to this face, and I'm just going to do that using face turns. So something like this. And I always want to do the full 4 turns so that the circle parts come back to where they are. All right, now the reason I did that is so that this orange yellow edge may be turned onto that piece to create a pair. That's what I was looking for. Now that I've done that, I want to replace this triplet with another triplet that's not yet done, and I want to do it using face turns, using only 0 faces. So in other words, I don't want to bring this out to here and replace it with this one, because that, I will just demonstrate this, if I was to do that, that's fine. Then this turns up, and you'll notice it's knocked out these circle pieces. So that is not what I want to do, and that's why I do not want to involve the green or white face in these face turns. So what else can I do? Well, for example, I could replace this with, say, this one here and use the yellow and the orange face, or this one here, whatever I want. As long as I take the pair that I just made out of the way, and I have, it's down here, then I can undo that corner turn. All the circle parts are still where they should be. Okay, now there's the yellow-orange pair. Where's the third piece? It is there. Okay, so let's just see. I'll just initially turn it to there and see how that's looking. I'll turn it to there. Yeah, what I probably need to do is get this out of that region of the white. So I might just initially turn it up to here with face turns. Now, I'm looking to turn it over this way, so I would like that third yellow-orange piece to be sitting there. That's what I've got to think. I've got to work out how to get it there. Well, that's pretty straightforward because I can just turn it up like this. And now I can move the pair onto the third piece. I've now created a triplet. I take it off and replace it with something that is not yet done. You notice that I'm not turning the white or green faces there so it doesn't disrupt circle parts, and I have now a reduced big edge. Now, because of this, what I would normally do is store any edges on the white face and the green face, and the first position I'm going to store is that right there between them. So I don't want to involve this green face in a move, but I can set it up to there and then cycle that into that position by turning the yellow and the red face. Okay, that's on position. Turn it back, and now I've got something stored where I want it. Let me do one more of these before I cut through to the end. What have we got? Blue, red, blue, white. There's a red, white. And that's going to be white. Should go to there. Okay. I can move this white, red over to this position, which will then allow me to create that white, red. To get the white, red to there, I basically need to flip this whole triplet so that it lands in that position. And that means it's a down, down, up, up. Now I can turn the white, red on, replace it with something else. Undo that corner turn. There's my pair. Now, where is my third white, red? Over here. Let's have a think about which way this is going to be turning. If I was to move that around to there, I've got, so just thinking out loud here, if I position that there, then I'd turn it like this, and I'd like the red, white to be red, white in that position. Is that possible? Yes, it certainly is. So that's the first thing I'll do, is place that piece up there. And the next thing is to place this pair over to here so that I can carry it out. Okay, now I've positioned things. I'm ready to make the triplet. Around I go, replace, undo that corner turn. There's my second piece that's done, and I would just go and store that down on the white face somewhere. And there's a couple done. I'll continue doing that until basically I come to the last 3 pieces to be reduced, and I will cut back in then. Okay, we're down to the last 3. I've got the red blues, the red greens, which look decent, and then I've got this strange thing going on here with the blue whites. Now what I'm really trying to do here is make 3 triplets like this, where I've got a clear pair and another piece. So the red greens, I've got a pair, the red blues, I've got a pair, not with the blue whites. So what I'm going to do here is essentially flip this blue white piece, this middle blue white piece, so that it comes back and positions with that one. I've just got to think my way through how I might do that. If I was to turn the piece to there, for example, I'm going to flip it. It's pushing out those red greens, but it doesn't break them up, which is not a bad thing. So I think this will do the job, because, for example, if I tried to flip it by turning it onto here, you can see that it breaks up the red blues. So that's no good. So I do want to turn it onto here. My concern then is to have 2 pieces or 2 triplets that I can flip, and I don't want to use the white or the green face when I'm doing the turns. So I also don't want to use any of these adjacent ones. Like I've got to use these sort of faces here. So I'm just going to have to initially move these two perhaps around to here. So I can do a setup just like that, because then I can still turn this on, do my flips, and everything will be fine. So that is what I'll do now. Turn that piece onto there. I'm going to flip this edge, and I'm also going to flip that one. That doesn't matter. That's already done. This is the third piece involved, but it will not flip. So the standard way that I would do this would be to do it down, down, up, up, and then return this piece to its position, but not by directly putting it up, but by turning its position across, placing the piece on its position, and then undoing both those moves. Okay, so that's done. What I want to do now is undo that corner turn. You'll see those are still intact, and you'll see now I have another clear pair there. If I undo this setup that I had, I now have this situation of 3 triplets, each of which has a clear pair. That's what I'm aiming for. When I've got that, I just want to set things up so that I can cycle them home with a normal corner turn. So for example, let's have a look here. If I wanted to cycle, let's say that I wanted to turn that blue white, I would need to get this white blue over here. So the white was on top. That doesn't look incredibly easy. So I'll have a look at another option. If I wanted to, let's say that I wanted to turn the blue reds over to here, I'd need the third blue red piece to be there. That looks a little easier because I can just rotate it around to there. So I think that's what I'll do. In other words, bring this blue red piece around to here first of all, just by some normal turns. Okay, so that is now there. The reason that I've done that is when I turn this blue-red pair, it creates the triplet. That's what I want. Now, my third piece is this one. And before I start, I'm just going to have a look and see where this needs to be. I don't want it through there because I'd have to turn through that region, and that's where I've done the turn. So what I really want is for it to be up sort of here somewhere. So initially, I would just say I'll put it into that position. So I'll move that to there just with normal turns. Okay, now I think I've got them set up because what I'm looking for is I turn the blue reds across there to make that triplet. I'm going to replace this as normal with my third piece. I want my third piece to be so that the pair of pieces is here, not here. And that looks good. When I turn that around, that is exactly what will happen. And that will then cause that third piece to automatically place as well. So I've done the corner turn. I now want to replace this piece with that one. I don't want to turn any white or green faces. So I'll choose my faces wisely. Okay, that's been replaced. Now I can undo my corner turn. Notice that those come back and those automatically come back as well. I guess there's no real reason to undo the face turns now because all of these last 3 have now been done. All the circle parts are still where they should be, and all of the edges are now reduced. That leads us on to, we're getting close to the end. We want to start placing or solving these outer edges, these reduced outer edges into their position, but we cannot turn the white or the green face when we do it. So for instance, I want this white green to go over to here initially, but I don't want to be turning the white face. So I will just set it up by moving it, say, to there. And I can do whatever setups I want as long as they don't turn the white face. Now, that actually looks a bit annoying. So probably what I would do here would be to do something like turn that down to the bottom and then say, how do I get that piece over to there? So look, initially, I'm going to put this down the bottom and store it there properly. Okay, so that is now sitting there. Now, I want to position that white green into that place. So I will just do a setup and put it there. And now I can use this face to turn it off, move its position down, and note that the circle parts don't move. Put it back on, undo. And now when I undo that setup turn, that white green has correctly placed, but more importantly, it has not disrupted any of the circle parts. So I'm going to start with that. I'm now going to move along to the other white pieces that I've got. So I've got a white orange down here, so I can turn its position down, put the white orange on, undo, undo. Next is a white blue, same thing. And the last one will be the white red. Now that white red is sort of stuck here and it's on the green face. So I'm just going to need to first kind of get it out of that position. And I can do that with a setup if it helps. So for example, I can put it down there as a setup and now turn its position using the red face, that's fine. And turn it on using the yellow face, that's also fine. Undo everything. And then finally, undo that setup. And that's got all the whites in position. As per normal, I'm going to go place 3 of the middle layer edges, but I specifically want to ensure that I place these 2 green ones. That's important. So the green red, first of all, it's going to go into that position, but I don't want to turn the green face. So potentially, let's just have a look at what I might do. If I set up like that, no, that's still not going to help. So what I think that I would do here is just get it out of there over to this region first. Okay, just to give a little bit more. It's gone to here. That's much better because now I can just turn this and then across to there. So I'm always looking for normal moves where I only have to turn my 0 faces. Okay, so that's been done. That green red is in. What about the green orange? That's sitting here. Oh, look at that. Precisely the same sort of move. So the whites are done. Those 2 greens are done. I'll choose one more of these. Oh, the blue orange, that's already done, so that's good. So I'm now down to this scenario, and I've got my problem faces at the back and the bottom, and that's my 4th middle edge. I want to go and place these 2 back ones, so the yellow green and the yellow orange. Well, the yellow green is here. I'm going to need to flip it over to there, so I'm just going to move it down to the middle. Okay, so now I can turn it onto its position. And notice I'm not worried about the white and green faces because all of these faces are 0 faces now. The yellow orange is in position but flipped. So again, I'll take that out, put it into the middle. And now that it's there, I can turn its position around to here, put it onto its position, undo, undo. And that will leave us with one of a couple of scenarios. The first scenario is you might end up with all of them solved. The second scenario is you may end up with a 3 cycle of edges in some form. The third scenario, I'm glad it happened because I was going to have to set up for it if it didn't, is this. We have a swap of 2 edges. Now, on a 3x3 puzzle, I would just advise, hey, turn the top face 1 turn and then resolve. The problem is that's knocked the circle edges out. I've got no real way of getting them back. So I do need to turn a face 1 turn, but I'm going to turn a side face because I need to use the white face to fix it up. And specifically also, I'm going to not involve the green face really. So I'm going to turn a side face, which is going to be the opposite one, this blue face here. I'll just do 1 turn. That has fixed that swapped edge problem. What I need to do now is resolve these circle edge parts. And I don't care about the outer edge parts yet. I just want to solve the circle edge parts. So the first thing that I'll do is get the white circle edge bits back onto the white face. And I'll do that just by cycling that one to there. that one to here, that one to there. Very simple. Turning the white face because I need to turn the white face in order to be able to cycle around circle parts. Okay, so the whites are done. Now let's have a look. If I look at the progression here, I've got this yellow has to go there, the orange has to go there, the red has to go there. So yellow to orange to red. But I need to carry this out on the white face. So I'm going to move the pieces in proximity. That is the set of turns I need to get them all to where they are able to be dealt with. So I'll just undo those turns. I'll have a think again. It was yellow to orange to red. So I put the red up to there, turn it, and then move those two up as well. Yellow to orange to red is my piece movement. So now I do that on the white face. Okay, and then undo the 3 setup moves. There was the first one, there was the second one, there was the third one. Looking around, you'll see that all of the circle edge parts are back where they should be. That was the first little stage of fixing things. The next stage is now to get the outer edges back to where they should be. So to get the white green back in, what I can do is set up by putting it there and now cycling the white green home using the 0 faces. Okay, that's done. Undo the setup. That one's home. Also got the white blue, which is here. So we'll turn that into position. And you'll notice when that's done that it's quite likely that you'll get this. That has solved all of the edges. It's one of the scenarios I said could happen. If you don't have all edges solved, what you will have is some kind of 3 cycle of these last 3 edges. That's very simple to deal with. And that is how we fix the 2 swapped edges. Well, from here, the last stage is just to solve the corners. You can solve them however you like. I use the corner piece series for that. So I'll just demonstrate that once. Just find a piece that needs to roll along an edge if I can. There may be none here. I don't think there are. So in that case, I'll look for something going across a diagonal like that. There's 3 pieces, and it doesn't matter which faces you use as well. With this, you can use whites, greens, whatever you like. And that took that piece from there across to that position. You continue cycling corners home until you come to the last 3. You've got to figure out a way to deal with them. Set that up to go across to there. That's the green is going to come to there. So I want the piece in the green face to be sitting there before I start. Cycle them home. Undo setups. That was the first one. That was the second one. And what you'll notice is not only is it solved, but there are no twisted corners. If you're here wondering how to get the twisted corner fixed, I did deal with that right near the beginning. Because at this point, if you do end up with it, it is not nice to fix. But there it is, the Crazy Grills Earth puzzle. As always, thanks for watching.